And welcome back. Well, some people say that social media is actually making people more antisocial.
Yeah, but our next guest says you can help your kids take a closer look at their social skills by using technology. Dr. Melissa Westendorf is a clinical psychologist. She's also the co-founder of the Technology Wellness Center. She's also an author. The book is Unplugged, right?
Correct.
And she's going to do a little experiment here for us today so that we can understand this better. Great to see you.
Nice to see you.
I think people are, to say concerned, I think is an understatement. I think parents in particular, teachers, probably other professional psychologists are alarmed at the addiction our kids seem to have to technology, particularly their cell phones. And all these issues, and now we have to worry about their interpersonal social skills too. It's a lot to raise kids in today's age.
It is a lot. So with regards to the interpersonal skills, so some of it's a problem because kids are just staying on their technology and not interacting with others. The other issue is that when they are interacting, the technology takes away a lot of what we do interpersonally, like eye contact and tone and body language. And so it sort of gets it on both ends. It prevents kids from developing it, and it also hinders how they're communicating with each other.
Yeah, because there's like this certain safe distance when you're like, you can pop off a text to someone that you wouldn't say face to face.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, even sometimes just misunderstanding the tone. I mean, even as adults, I mean, you know, when you just text back something like, okay, you think, oh, are they mad at me?
I know,
I mean,
I know.
it's that simple
to
just misunderstand a tone.
Right.
So when it comes to social skills, I think that's important. I mean, I'm gonna, on my soapbox, I think it happens a lot at dinners. You know, kids are allowed to stay on their social media or whatever at a restaurant or something, and they're not practicing those skills. So what do we need to be aware of when it comes to social skills for kids, and how do we kind of make sure we're reintroducing them or making them solid for their adult life? Right.
So one of the things that we do in our therapy, and it can be sort of a fun experiment, as we call it, the open texting experiment. And so the parents are using technology to actually help their kids develop better interpersonal skills, et cetera. And so we use this experiment. Sometimes the kids don't really like it very much, but actually I found it to be helpful for parents, because one of the suggestions is that you do it with your kid, with your own argument you've had with your child over texting, because of course we all, you know.
And I accidentally sent a text in an argument with one of my kids to another mom, and I was very embarrassed because I was really upset with my child, and I was like, oh my gosh,
parent of the year at that moment.
Right, not even close.
Everybody's done it.
Yeah, but it was a good self-check, because I was like, you know, maybe I didn't want another parent to read it, but maybe I should have toned it down a little bit for my own kid too. What I like about this is, and this is, I feel like, a way of sort of building awareness with your kids, or kind of exposing them to how it maybe sounds and they're not aware of it. So basically what you do is you ask them to pull up, and I'm going to have you read this. You have them pull up a text conversation they've had with a friend that maybe wasn't so friendly or was an argument. So read this first, then we're going to talk about the point of it.
So it says, Sally told me after Mr. Brown's class that you were talking about me behind my back. And then, you know, kids talking slang. I wouldn't do that. You're such a liar. Really? What did I say? I thought you were my best friend. I thought you were my BF. How could you believe her? You're not denying it. Whatever. Okay.
Wow. To be honest, this seems like a very typical conversation, especially a little younger, like that 12, 13, 14 range.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the point of this?
Okay, so the first thing that you can do is say, should this conversation have even happened over texting, right? Perhaps you can talk to your child about, well, what would have been a better way to talk to your friend? Maybe you could have shared with her in, like, you're such a liar. She went immediately to calling the person
a name.
So is that the best way to do that? So you can have this conversation dialogue. Now, I always recommend, don't judge your kids. Like, I have a WT little asterisk, and so there's swearing. You're going to find swearing, right? And you're going to.
Oh, so that was actually a written swear word, and you're just abbreviating for TV.
Right.
I was just upset about the way they spelled your, because it was the improper way to use your.
Exactly.
Well, and speaking of that, I want to get too tangential here, but my daughter hand wrote thank you notes after her birthday party. She just turned 13. But the notes to her friends, now I don't know about to her grandparents, but they were all filled with
Abbreviations.
Yeah, like thank you for the number 4, the surprise,
Like
and
how thought is spelled here is THOT.
THOT,
Right,
and
right.
you are, things like that. And I was like, oh wow, I got to talk to her about that.
And I even like wrote out more words than a
Than
kid
they
would
do.
ever put
Yeah.
on there. But
Yeah.
I figured nobody would know what I'm talking about, and I probably wouldn't even be able to read it. So
Yeah.
So what do you,
Yeah.
how do you leave them with this? You know, what do you say at the end to kind of button this up and help them be better?
You know, it's just talking about those skills and saying, well, this is how I might have dealt with it, or this is how I might, or how did
Yeah.
this end? What happened with this?
That's a great question.
You know, so you can use these poster boards. You can use, I've used sticky notes, like 2
Yep.
different color sticky notes. And I also say do it in like the kitchen or in the
Yep.
living room where it's an open area. That's why it's the open texting experiment.
Yes.
Because we also say once it's out here, you can't lose it, right? Somebody could screenshot it, send it.
Yeah.
You know, do those things that we don't really want them. We're saying things that maybe we don't want other people to
And I
know.
always like your approach because it feels, I'm sure, to them a little in their face.
Yeah.
But I like what you said about maybe share with them a text where you had an argument with
Absolutely.
somebody else, whether it was with them or another adult, maybe even, or a friend. It's really good practice for all of us to kind of
Right.
expose our own, like, I think I could have handled this better. And then, hey, what do you think about the way you interacted with your friend?
Yes, sometimes parents are a little reluctant, but they
Yeah.
eventually do it. So.
Because it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable for everyone.
Absolutely,
But it's worth, it's a
absolutely.
teachable moment.
Right.
I think so too.
It's great.
Always
Well,
great to see you.
Here's
That's
how
a
you
great
can learn
experiment.
more. Yeah, technologywellnesscenter.com. And again, this is called the Open Texting Experiment. I'm sure there's more on your website about
Yes,
that as well.
there is.
Good
Thanks
stuff.
so much, Melissa.
You
That
bet.
was great.
Really good stuff. Thank you.